Harlem, great to speak to you. Tell me first off, how are you feeling about being involved in such a big show on Saturday, the start of a huge year for boxing in the UK?
Yeah, it's gonna be a great year, and there's no better fight to kickstart it with than my cousin Chris in a competitive, big domestic fight against Liam. I'm looking forward to fighting on my cousin's undercard, and yeah, it's a big milestone for me, and I'm excited to show the boxing public what I can do.
You said, I think a few weeks ago, that it's a dream come true to be on the same card as Chris. Can you explain why that's the case and how long you've been waiting for this opportunity?
I think, well, since when I started boxing at the age of 18, just before that, you know, I'm seeing Chris on terrestrial TV fighting, and you know, with flair and excitement, and I'm watching, thinking this is great, and that partly inspired me to get into boxing. So when I was going through, I knew that amateurs was you had to go through it to have a solid base in professional boxing. So my vision was always professional boxing. So, you know, I started at 18 and was kind of on a crash course for the amateurs to get enough experience. And, you know, after 3-4 years, I was kind of like, am I ready to turn pro? I want to turn pro. And then I had a few more fights. Can I turn pro? And then, you know, eventually turn professional. So it was always a mission to turn professional, and ultimately, you know, fight alongside my cousin as well. And them watching him really inspired me to get into boxing. So watching him, it made me see it's possible. You know, he showed me, you know, how hard you have to work. I could see it in the flesh, like the work rate, and it was kind of, it made it possible. And yeah, it really kind of inspired me to get into boxing. And now, you know, I'm fighting on his undercard live on Sky Sports. It's a dream come true.
When did you truly fall in love with boxing? Because you were such a talented footballer, weren't you? You were with Brighton for a number of years. And
yeah,
as you say, you only really started when you were 18. So it wasn't something that you immediately went into. It's something you were interested in when you were younger, not even as a teenager, really.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I was always interested in combat. But boxing never really came on the radar, because in my head, it was kind of like, you know, my dad's done boxing, my uncle's, you know, completed boxing. It's like it's already been done by the family. Let me try and do something else, physical. So it didn't really get hold of me until I went to the boxing gym, you know, at 18, and I was like, you know, I'd fallen out of football and fallen out of the love with football, and boxing was so hard when I tried to do it. It was so difficult when you're in there with people and you're getting hit and you don't know how to defend yourself. So it's a case of, how can I make this easier? And, you know, the way you make it easier is practice and repetition. And I really wanted to understand how I could become more comfortable in there, from the first day I went in. So it's kind of been a crash course, like, how can I get better? How can I get more experience? And like I say, I started at 18, so it's been a journey of, you know, being thrown in the deep end and coming out swimming.
And how do you assess what you've done so far? Because it's been, I guess, pretty much a decade in the sport, 12 fights, no defeats. You've just signed with Wasserman as well. So setting yourself up for what you hope is going to be your biggest year yet.
Yeah, it's been tough getting started. You think, you know, when you turn pro, it's all going to be smooth sailing, but it turns out it's a very difficult game, and you have to take it fight by fight and roll with the punches, as they say. I wasn't lucky enough to get consistent fights. You know, I've took 50-50 fights and you know, shown the boxing public what I can do as well, and came out on top. And yeah, it's been a it's been a difficult journey, but it shaped me to where I'm at now, and I'm ready to continue growing. And signing with Wasserman is the perfect, collaboration for me. They're looking to get me busy, and they believe in what I can do, and they're going to take me to the place that I need to be.
Talk me through your relationship with Adam Booth, because you've worked with him for a little while now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's good. He knows what he's talking about, and he's added, bits to my game over the years that I've been in the gym every day, absorbing gems from him, from some of the experienced fighters in the gym as well, working with them and sparring with them and soaking up all the experience I can get. Like I said, it's a crash course. So for me, I just want to be surrounded by it as much as possible to grow as quickly as possible, and that's what I've done.
What was your reaction when you found out that Liam Williams would be joining you in the gym?
Yeah, it's it wasn't ideal. It's not ideal, but you're forced to be professional about it. So I'm training for a fight myself, so my reaction was just, make sure my training's separate, and make sure I'm in at different times, and that nothing kind of overlays, because Chris is my blood, so I'm always in his corner. So I don't want any of the camaraderie or anything that you build with people in the gym before the fight.
Has that made things a little bit awkward then in the last few weeks?
Yeah, it's definitely more awkward, but you just have to deal with it. This is life. Nothing's always straightforward, especially in boxing. So you become accustomed to overcoming little obstacles, along the way.
Chris was quite critical of it. He wasn't very happy because, of course, Adam trains you as well. Were you disappointed, or, as you said before, boxing's boxing, and there's so many wild things that happen in this sport? I guess nothing really surprises you sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by, not really surprised by much in the sport. Like I say, it's been a tough road from my debut to trying to get fights and get experience. So it's not been easy. It's not been easy for me, and it's took a lot of resilience to overcome certain challenges and get to where I'm at now. And that's built me a certain way to prepare me for bigger and better fights in the future. So I guess it's all a process, and the way you think it's meant to go, sometimes there's there's different roads laid out that you don't know they're preparing you for the next stage, but that's the greater plan, and they're shaping you for what's to come in the future.
How do you feel about the main event itself this weekend? Have you seen much of Liam in the gym? Have you spoken to Chris much over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I've speaking to Chris regularly. Haven't seen much of Liam, just little glimpses. But like I say, we're in the gym at different times. So yeah, Chris, if Chris does what Chris does, he's a very difficult man to fight. He fights at a certain intensity, and he's a handful. And I'm Team Eubank to the core.
What do you make of his mindset at the moment? Because I was down there in Hove last week, and I spoke to him. I've never seen him so relaxed but razor sharp focused at the same time.
Yeah, I think he's experienced now. He's experienced certain rivalries and the energy exchanges with different opponents over the years, and he's he's a seasoned fighter now. So I think he's used to the fight weeks and the build up. So once you've experienced that over and over, you're just accustomed to it. It doesn't phase you anymore, and I don't think he's phased by that. He's just ready to fight, and that's what he does best.
And this year, he wants this to be the year that he becomes a world champion. Do you believe that he will achieve his dream in doing that in 2022?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's got all the ingredients to be a world champion. And whether it's this year or the year after, like I say, in boxing, anything can happen. The time schedule isn't always as you think it will be. So, I think he's got all the ingredients to be world champion. Whether it happens 2022 or the following year, I think he's ready. I think he's ready for the heights now.
And let's come back to you, 2022. What would be a successful year for you now? Of course, big fight this weekend, but I imagine you want to be really active this year.
Yeah, that's the plan. You said it there. Activity is the key for me this year. Like I said, I've up to this point 12 fights. It's not that many fights for how long I've been professional. So this year is the time to kick on and get activity and get experience in the ring. And this is the year I need to be out regularly. Hopefully, 5-6 fights this year. So that's the plan.
And what do you think is possible for you in this sport? You picked it up late. Do you think that you, like Chris, wants to become a world champion? Is that why you're in this sport? Is that what you're doing it for?
Yeah. If I didn't see myself, if when I started I didn't think it was possible, I wouldn't have continued. I want to get to the top of the sport, and that's why I have the application that I have and being in the gym every day since I started. I'm not here to get any clout or any, I'm not here for any of the things that come outside of boxing. I'm here to be a world champion. And I believe that's possible within the next 3 years. I think with solid activity and, and the right development fights, I think I will be world champion within 3 years.
And in the past, do you feel like the Eubank name has maybe hindered you? But now with a new promotional company, hopefully that can kickstart the career in terms of getting you these big events and getting you these big events regularly.
Yeah, I think that's key. I think the game's opened up, and Wasserman and Sauerland bros I feel like are the perfect people to promote me and to and for me to partner with to drive forward in the boxing game. It's there's going to be some big nights over the coming years for sure.